a Nissan Titan 2012 I bought. Then I started learning this information, and guys told me I could discharge. I tried that, man. Listen, it ain't nothing you could bring me that I didn't either try or even looked into. And I can tell you if it works or it don't work. That discharge crap don't work. So when people come bringing that to you, discharges, don't lose your property following that. Trust me, y'all gonna run into that, right? So I did all that, did the discharge, wrote these money orders up, got brought into court, questioned, almost got this, but I was smart enough to be able to answer the questions appropriately. So finally the bank brought me into court. This is how I know you can shut lawyers down in the courts. I've been there. I'm not telling you something I read on a piece of paper. I did it. So the lawyer comes in, they did what you call a claim 420 to get the vehicle back. But I said, I don't have a vehicle. It was here in Georgia. This is in South Carolina. I don't have a vehicle. The vehicle is not in my possession. Said, you know where it is? I said, it's not in my possession. They kept trying to get me to say, give them where it was. So when I got my turn to speak, I said, first of all, I want everything this lawyer says stricken for the record because he's a stranger to me. He's an attorney representing the bank, and the bank's not here. And the judge said, you're absolutely right. And I screwed up by saying more than I should have. I should have shut up right then and there. And I started saying, well, I don't know, I don't have the vehicle in my possession. So they skipped that part and moved on. That's why I should have stayed right there. The whole case would have been dismissed and I'd have been done with it right then and there. But long story short, they got a judgment to get the car from me. So they sent the sheriff to a house I wasn't living at, but they know where I was, so they called me. I got on the phone with the sheriff. I said, look, will you read the order? The order said it ain't in my possession. She said, you know what, it's right. You ain't got the vehicle. Why are they sending me to get this from you when it says you don't have it? The order specifically said they can get it, but the vehicle is not in my possession. So wherever they find it, they can get it. But it wasn't even in their jurisdiction. It was in Georgia. So those cases that case is only.
It's time for you to live out your purpose. It's not for me to decide what your purpose is. It's for me to just tell you, go for your purpose. Everyone has purpose. Oh no, I can't think of nothing. No, the reason why you can't think of nothing because your mind is so convoluted with all of the polluted information that you received from the day you was born that it's covering up those treasures, that inheritance that God had for you. That's why I said it's already there. It's just you can't see it because you're looking at what man showed you. As soon as you peel that back, you'll see it. But it takes putting forth God first for you to see it. Then you start opening, wow, I could do this. I could do that. It's like a miracle. Once I get ideas, my mind is motivated on ideas, stuff just pop. My favorite technique to make stuff pop is once I get that first idea, move, stop playing. Too many of y'all playing. Y'all call it planning. I call it playing. Planning and playing seem to be right in the same spelling categories. Move around a few words. I call it playing. Yeah, planning is good in some circumstances, but sometimes you get an idea, you just got to move on it. That's why Christ said, be like these children, and then you can enter the kingdom of heaven. I tell you what, if you don't believe you're special, just trust what I just said. You are special. You are the divine manifestation of God himself. That's why I keep saying you only have one job. One job. And it's not working at someone's job. It's not filling out applications to become employed by someone else. That's not your one job. It's not, I got to do all these things so I can take care of myself. That's not the one job. It's not it. See, before I tell you what your one job is, I have to show you how you got here. Because through religion, through education, through politics, through social programming, social manipulation, media manipulation, and deception, you were made to believe that you have to do certain things in order to be successful. When you got here, you was already successful. You already had it all. Think about it, right? In the Bible, they had what you call the prodigal son, right? He had it all, right? And then one day he decided, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go hang out. Pops, give me my bread and let me go do my thing. You do your thing, I'm gonna go do my thing. So he disconnected disconnected from the source of having it all and went somewhere else where the funds he had was limited. First of all, he didn't have the mindset to even hold on to it. He blew it. He did all kinds of things, right? I won't go into all of the gory details. Then he woke up one day. He came to himself. He woke up one day and said, wait a minute. I can go back to the source where there is all, everything's there, but I'm gonna go this time as a servant because I know I don't deserve to come in as the son because I was disrespectful. I did not appreciate what my father had set up for me. So he went back to the father and said, oh, Papa, I want to be back here and I'll come as a servant. Just let me come back. And Pop said, what? Are you kidding me? I'm going to allow my son to live like a servant? See, my love and my provisions don't run out. And because they don't run out, you can always come back. As long as you realize that this is the source of everything for your existence. This is everything for you. And it doesn't run out. See, what the social structures have done is made you think of lack instead of abundance. Made you think that you have to have this. You got to measure up. Take these tests. Think about it. 12 years of taking tests have taught you only one thing: how to be afraid to fail, how to be afraid to not measure up. So you're so concentrating on what you don't want, which is the failure, which actually is what gave you the fail, because you just was thinking about what you don't want. This goes back to you only have one job. What most people don't want to do, they sacrificed comfort to live grandiose later. Our biggest problem in this society is we want to entertain ourselves first before we make the money. So by the time we get the money, it's all gone. You already spent it. Spent it on that game you went to. You spent it on that movie. You spent it on that eating out. They programmed us not even to be cooking our own food, to go buy food to poison our own system. It's not the grocery store's fault. It's not the big farmer. It's not Monsanto's fault. They're just providing a service, and we are happy to indulge. It's our fault. These businesses won't survive without our help. The way this system works won't survive unless it had customers, right? My business won't survive if I don't get clients, right? To do business with me. So who's where the problem lies? All back on us. The decisions we making mentally that put us in these positions. Peace, peace. What's up? Sunday, November the 10th. 10 days down in November. Just checking my sound here for a second. Just checking it out. Make sure everything's good. Man, peace everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. You know, this year. I hope you got what you needed done or got close to it. Or if you didn't get close to it, you at least are still working on it. You didn't give up. I know this is the year, by definition, the year of karma, the 8 years. So karma, well, comes what goes around, comes around back to itself. And so people have been living out karma, and some of the karma is good, some of the karma is not so good, because it's all about what you manifested previously, the things you did, just being returned back to you. That's why you always got to be careful about what you're putting out there, because all you want is good. That's why you want your thoughts to be good, so that good can return to you. Wake up in the morning thinking good things about yourself, thinking good things about your family, even though the family might be giving you problems, but you got to think good, because the alternative is unacceptable. You start thinking bad about your family and how bad they are, it's going to lead you down a dark, dark, dark road. And the next you know, you're criticizing, you're complaining, and now you just put yourself into a bad state of mind. See, a lot of the abuse that we receive is own psychological, mental abuse we give ourselves. No, Hakeem, they said that to me. They did that to me. She did it. He did it. The job, everybody. They did it to me. Yeah, they may have done something that you don't like. You didn't appreciate. They disrespected you. But it was you who chose to respond the way you did. You chose not to be in peace. You chose to pick up the sword instead of walking away in peace. You chose to let their words get to you and bother you and fester inside your consciousness and take offense. Everything in that situation, you chose to contract with it and accept it as it was sent to you and participate in your own mental abuse. No, he's horrible, Akeem. He's this. I know he might be. I don't know who you're talking about, but she's horrible. I don't know. But I do know for you to feel the way you do right now about that situation, you're choosing that feeling. You choosing to look at it and say, I'm offended. You're choosing to say, I don't like this, and I'm gonna be angry about it. I'm not saying your anger, your feelings are not justified. What I'm saying is the feeling that you're currently, the state of mind that you're feeling right now is a choice. That's all I'm saying. There's easy choices and there's hard choices, but it's all a choice. Now, you, knowing what I just said, what do you choose to do right now about your feelings? Because the only one person that can protect your feelings is you. The only one that can protect your peace is you. You could choose to be in a peaceful state of mind or in a vengeful state of mind or a depressed state of mind or angry state of mind. Or you could choose peace and say, oh, they did that. But I'm bigger than that. I'm a transcender. I transcend this issue and I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to go find something to make me happy. Pick up some hobby that you like to do. Go out to the park. Go for the walk. Entertain yourself somehow. Go read a book. Distract yourself from that painful mindset. You can't remain in that place. Because to remain in a place where there's darkness, where it's causing to you to feel not good about yourself, is to participate in your own abuse. Because once you love yourself to a degree, you will have boundaries and you won't let anyone cross those boundaries. And the moment they cross those boundaries, you say, I love you, but I got to go. I can't participate in this nonsense anymore. I had to learn that. That all of the anger and yelling and screaming and fits and all of that, that's not them. That's me choosing to react that way. That's all it is. My choice to be angry. Oh, you and that once that ego get out of control, man, it'll make you justify the craziest thing. This is why people who have, crimes of passion, they go and kill things because they angry and the ego has said, you justified, man. You gonna let them cut you off in traffic? What's wrong with you? You bigger than that. You better go do something about that. And then next you're arguing with somebody about some nonsense. And you participating in your own problems. Creating problems for yourself when you just say, you know what, look, they cut me off, so what? They just get there first. I'll get there a few seconds after them. Let it go. And I'm not telling you this like I got this perfected. I'm telling you, I ain't got it perfected. I don't think I'm 25% perfected that. But that's why I'm talking about it, because I need to be reminded, hey, listen, let's let stuff go. And I know this is not the topic of our discussion today. Our topic of discussion is don't worry about the how. And I'll explain. I'm not going to read a book. I'm not going to go reference anything. I'm just going to talk from the heart, just based off my experience. But back to what I was just talking about. Stop participating in your own problems. When you see the problem, how you resolve it is move away from it. When Peter wanted to walk in that water, he saw that storm. He started participating. Oh my God, this is a big storm. And it's bigger than me. He just saw Christ walking on water like it was nothing. Like it was a everyday thing. And then he get out there, he start walking, yeah, I'm good. And he look over there and he start thinking the storm's bigger than him and bigger than Christ. And Christ just walked over it. See, he started to participate in his own failure. Christ had just walked on this water. He said, teacher, master, can I do it? Yeah, come on, come to me. He got out there, started walking, boom. Storm brew up. Oh, wow. That storm's bigger than me. And he started to sink. He started to sink in his own consciousness. It started in his thoughts that he was going to sink, and he started to sink. But he had food. When he kept his eye on the Christ and he was walking towards him, he could do it. Because the Christ represents power. Christ represents success. Christ represents abundance. Christ represents peace, prosperity, and everything that's good. And when he kept his mind locked on that, he was able to do it. But as soon as he took his mind off it, his eyes off it, and looked over here at this, what appeared to be a big storm to him, and he started to give praise to the storm in a way by saying, wow, oh, and then he started to sink. See, anything you have fear of, you are making it your God. Because God didn't give you the spirit of fear. That's clearly said in the Bible. He didn't give you give yourself that by choosing false gods. See, false God is not just a golden calf that you worship. A false God is when you get into a situation and you think that situation is bigger than God. That becomes your God in that moment because you think this situation is more powerful than the God that gave you life. See, we form gods in our mind on many different levels and don't even realize it. Because we just ain't labeled it a God. But we behaving like it's a God. We giving obeisance to it like it's a God. We giving it power like it's a God. We place people in our lives and make them God through the stress they give us. You keep going back and forth. And you trying to verbally get them into a place where y'all can have peace. When you could just choose peace and not even fool with that. I think I said enough right there. Because I think whoever needed to hear that heard it. And I need to get on to what the topic of discussion was. Don't worry about the how. And let me explain. You got a good idea. You got a business, whatever it is you want to put forth. Maybe you just want to go take a vacation somewhere. And you don't necessarily have the funds to even make this happen. But this is what you want to do. And you start to say, I'm excited. I want to go here. I want to go do this. I want to do that. And you're excited. You're all worked up about it. And then the devil comes. Not no devil with a pitchfork and horns and looking red, wearing a little tail. That devil mindset that comes in and says, you ain't got no money. How you going to get it done? You broke. Now, the power of God just gave you the inspiration to say that whenever you get a good inspiration, you get excited about it. That's God in you working. That's God. And then that flesh, that ego comes in. What? It's almost like when the devil went to God on Job and said, yeah, he only praising you because you giving him everything. You looking out for him. You got your protection. Take your protection and see what happens. That's what happens. Oh, you ain't got no money. Things ain't working out right now. Everything seems to be falling apart. How are you going to take this vacation for a couple of weeks or whatever long you want to take? How are you going to do that? And then in that moment, you just lose all your inspiration. The devil done just popped your balloon, deflated you. And let me keep Mind you, maybe I need to stop using that word devil because some of y'all come from the church where they use the devil like it's candy and they fed you the devil like he's at every corner trying to get you. And you looking over here looking around the corner, the devil coming at you, you can't really see where the real source of your devil is. And the devil is really your thoughts. That opposition, that opposite thinking, that other thinking that you don't have the power to make things happen. That's the devil I'm talking about. I'm not talking about no devil sitting in a porch walking around angry because he got a short amount of time like the church folks be teaching. I'm talking about that opposite thinking where you start talking to yourself after you had just got God inspired inspiration. That's the devil. That's the mindset that I'm talking about. See, in order to make anything happen for you, you can't worry about the how. You just got to know and trust and believe that it's going to get done. Oh, I'm going to do this vacation. And then you sit there and you write it down. So let's do a little exercise right now. Let's do a little exercise. Let's take something. I give y'all a second. Go get a piece of paper and think of something you really want to do right now. Something that you've been inspired to do. You just been putting it off because you've been making an excuse that your circumstances just don't present itself for you to have it right now. Do you realize the minute you have that thought that my situation just is not conducive for me to do that right now, you just stopped yourself from doing it. So we want to take a paper. Say this is something I, I I'm gonna declare something, but it's not something that it's something I want to do, but it's not. I just don't. What I've learned to do, anything that I really, really, really want to do, don't tell the world. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand doing. So this is just an example that I'm using. Okay, I want to do 2 weeks in Egypt. That's where I want to go. Now I go look at my bank account. Let's just say, for example, I look at I ain't got that kind of money to go spend 2 weeks there. But what do I do? So what I'll do is, so what's it gonna take for me to do 2 weeks in Egypt? Okay, I go research. Oh, it costs this much. Let's say 2 weeks in Egypt costs 12 grand, $12,000. Flights, food, hotel, $12,000. Let's just say that. I don't know what it costs. I'm just writing the number down. Okay, $12,000. All right. So now that I figured out what it's gonna cost, now maybe I'm a person who has a job. Oh, I need to get 2 weeks off from the job. See, I'm speaking to the masses now, because most people have jobs. Now, not everybody, a lot of times when people teach you, they teach you from the point of view where they're living. Like they don't have a job. Like me, I don't have a job like that where I clock in and clock out. So I'm not going to speak to you from that level because it's not going to be relatable. But so you got 2 weeks. So you need to get 2 weeks off. You got to go get permission from the job to get the 2 weeks off. You can. That's easy. That's the easy part. You can get that because if you plan enough time in advance, you can do that. Right? Get your 2 weeks off, and you have the. Let's assuming you have that kind of time. You write that down. 2 weeks off. 12,000 now. Now I got other responsibilities. I got children. I'm not taking the children with me on it. It's just going to be me and the wife. We going to Egypt for 2 weeks. Right? So we got to figure out what to do with the kids. Okay, well, ours ain't. They grown. My daughter's 18 now, so we ain't got to worry about that. They can stay home and be responsible by themselves. Right. So that's figured out. You ain't got to worry about the kids. You got some pets. They need to be watched. Who gonna do that? They'll probably do most of it. Make sure to get fed. So what we got to do. So to get to this $12,000 that we currently don't have to pay for this trip, we probably got to make some sacrifices. Cut out some some bills, boom, boom, boom. See, you while you're writing down these things, what I'm doing, I'm brainstorming. I'm not really worried about the how. I'm just saying, what do I need to do to get that? Not, I ain't got it, so I can't get that. Oh, to get this, what in my life I have to shift around to get this? Because in this, divine inspiration comes and you'll be able to do this with no problem. But what people do is they start sitting there reflecting on how they're going to get it done. Oh, man. And then they start talking themselves out of it. And it happens. Now, this is a small thing to me, from my mindset. That's small. But whenever I had bigger things that I wanted to do, like I wanted to go in a new direction with the trucking company. An idea was presented. At the time, the financial status of the company didn't dictate that I could afford to get the equipment I needed to do it. But in the midst of doing so, I said, this is what I want to do. I wrote a plan. Okay, we could do this and do that. And guess what? And most of the stuff that I was able to accomplish came through my thoughts. I didn't really have it all written down. I didn't really have a solid plan written out. But the finances came for me to be able to do it. I'm not going to put the details out there because this is how it came was nothing short but a God ordained miracle. But I didn't worry about the how. I just knew it was going to get done. Because I said, you know what, this will get done. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, I'll know when to take it. So we was able to buy 4 pieces of equipment within a couple of months. In the beginning, it looked like it was a mountain to climb. And the Bible says, if you have enough faith as this mustard seed, you can tell that mountain to pick up and go over there. So what is that saying? All you got to do is have the command, thought, and command it to be in existence. And it will become so. You're not supposed to spend your time. This brain is not designed to get caught up in the hows. It's only supposed to experience and see, okay, process, go through trial and error, and okay, we make adjustments here. See, the spirit's supposed to control the consciousness. And the spirit already knows the how. The spirit is what is hovering above all things like God and can see down on situations and see all the variables and be able to decipher to bring it forward. But the problem is we start from the fleshly mind, and we never go tap into the higher consciousness. Because if it's a thought of something, that means it already exists. It just doesn't exist in this physical realm yet. If you can see it, it already exists. If you can fathom it, it already exists. That's why I like that quote that Reverend Ike says. I always like to give him credit. You will never get any further than the ideas in your mind. So the only limitation, the only limits, your only limit, your only blockage is you. The little things that pop up, the little situations that popped up to seem to be slowing you down, they're not slowing you down because everything happens in its due time. Because usually the little hiccups that come up is all the stuff that's preparing you, prepping you to be able to appreciate when it does manifest. And you can actually physically take part in it. But first, you must mentally, spiritually take part in it. You must partake in your success now in your consciousness before you can partake of it in the physical. You must be already playing in that. We got to be already in Egypt, looking at pictures. Oh, look at the pyramids. Look at this. Look at the desert. This, that, and the other. We got to be already there. envisioning, enjoying the culture, eating the food. We got to be already there. We already got to trust in the Christ mind in order to be able to be the Christ. That's why Christ always says, believe in me, abide in me. That's how he was able to do it. All of the stuff that the miracles that was talked about, but all of that was done way before he even did it. That's why the confidence level was so high when he just said, come here, let me do this. Now, even after that, after we was able to get the new equipment, hiccups came. Then guess what? A shaking came. Then I was able to see things, see the truth of certain situations. You start to see who's really standing for you and who's standing against you in these situations. And it's nothing to complain about, because complaining is only going to hinder the fixing of it. Also, okay, this is it. This situation happened for me to see who's really working with me, who's really down for the cause. And then you got to make adjustments again. It's always, listen, every time you go to the big higher level, you're going to meet some really big challenges. You're going to get some really big blessings, and you're going to get some really big problems. Why? Because it's all preparation. Because if you're a progressive, moving forward, getting higher, you got to expect that. All those little tests that Christ had to go through before he actually did the ultimate sacrifice, preparation. And then at the end, there ain't nobody was there in the end, but he had to go through that by himself. He had to go through his be accused and spit on and be ridiculed all by himself. And in all that time, he never allowed people to move him from his position through all of that. See, some of us get moved at just somebody looking at us wrong. How? See, they're worrying about the how. How you gonna do that to me? No, it ain't about the how. It's just how people are. But you have to know how you're gonna operate. This is, am I gonna participate in this? Or am I gonna move back and make readjustments so that I can move on? Because all those people that did all of that false accusations, guess what happened? Christ moved on to a higher level and they all stayed right where they was, stuck. And moved on to the next drama. Isn't that how the world is now? They stuck. Yeah, one side that wanted one person to be president, the other side wanted another person, and they all stuck in that same position. Like the election is gone and moved on, and people stuck. Some people say we doomed. Some people say we not doomed. They stuck because they looking at the wrong God. They let politics and rhetoric change them or move them or persuade them into taking a side when we really shouldn't have a side. When it comes to that, there's only one side, and that's God's side. Meaning, I didn't mean to repeat Cat Williams, but it's only one side. And like you said, and God's side don't care nothing about neither one of them sides. Because why? Because our success and failure is not dependent on what the government do, what Trump do, what Kamala do, what issues she supports and what issues she. Our success is not dependent on that. I can tell you one thing, our failure is dependent on that. Because if you sitting up there looking for them to make changes for you, I guarantee you that's a recipe for failure for you. Because that's not the God you're supposed to be looking at. You're supposed to be looking at the God in you. And the God in you says, don't worry about tomorrow. Because tomorrow has its worries of its own. Do I not feed the birds in heaven? And I know every hair on your head. I can count them. So I already know what you need. I already know what you want. And I'll give you what you need. And I'll give you what you want. All you have to do is put forth the kingdom of heaven first. Then all these things will be added to you. It didn't say put forth Trump and vote for him. It didn't say put forth Kamala and vote for her first, and then these things will be added to you. No, it didn't. And all these people running around upset. And all these people running around happy. But that is limited success. There's only one thing that's going to make you success. Your trust in God and the Spirit, that the God in you is delivering to you all that you want. And everything you receive is based on your belief in whatever it is you believe in. What you perceive is what you receive. That's it. There's no other. There's nothing else. There's no extra. It's just what you in your Christ mind, what you holding on to. And what you holding on to is giving you all that you desire and some. Think about that. You see? I'm thankful that a lot of the things I went through this year, I am thankful because it opened me up and helped me see a side of myself that I didn't know existed. Why couldn't I see it? Because I was blocked by looking at the problem. See, there's a side of you that you don't even know yet because you haven't gone through and allowed yourself to really be tested like Christ got tested. Think about that test that he went through. He did all this helping, preaching, said nothing but a good word, helping people, fed them, gave them a word to uplift them, didn't judge him. They wasn't getting that treatment from the church. They were being judged every step they go. You doing wrong. They stoned you. Get out of here. You out of here. Cast you to the side. That's not what Jesus was hanging out with the lowest of them. That they can, not the lowest. Actually, he was hanging out with the highest of them. But society considered them to be low. And why were they the highest? Because they didn't think they were better than anybody else. See, the ones who don't think they're better than everybody are the highest of society. The ones who understand who they really are and connected, hey, I can't judge nobody else. I got a lot of work to do. That's the highest. It just so happened the people that find themselves doing things that society is against, the outcasts become, because they be in this low place from society. They got nowhere else to go by. Where else do I go? The society's rejected me. And they used to, he's hanging out, do you know who this woman is who's doing this? Who's touching you? And then when the so-called woman put that expensive oil, they had something to say about that. Look, you could have sold that, made money off that. You gonna waste it on. They didn't realize what she was actually doing. She was showing that the Christ gets nothing but the best. How many of y'all give yourself nothing but the best? Y'all give y'all best to everybody else, everything else but yourself. Everybody else but yourself. That was an example that you're supposed to be treating yourself with honor, treating yourself to the best. Well, if you don't do it, who else is going to do it? That was your example. That you deserve the best, just like Christ got it. No, I can't. That's not true. I said, but let me remind you, if it's not true, then why did you just say you would do greater things than I? And what he was doing was just on a small scale, example. It was big, but it was a smaller scale than what as the collective power of Christ's minds working together, what can be accomplished. Way bigger than that. So yeah, go get that. Stop. You know, I was listening to a Reverend Ike teaching. He was saying, stop waiting till some special person come over to your house to use your best dishes, and you do it. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself, and then you'll know how to celebrate others. That's why some of y'all can't celebrate nobody else. Some of y'all got a hate a spirit in you because you so used to down talking yourself that you don't know how to celebrate other people. You know how to fake celebrate people. You know how to fake smile in people's face. But you really don't know how to celebrate people's success because you're not celebrating your own success. You're not looking at yourself in a high regard. See, those people that wait till other people come in to use their best dishes, this is probably nothing that people do today. This is old school. And I remember my mom used to do it. We used to have a circuit overseer come by and she pull out the best for him. Wow, we get the paper plates. No hit on my mom. She had 6 kids, and paper plates probably the best thing she could use because we run through some dishes. All them kids in the house, shoot. Well, you know how much dishes that's washing. So just saying. But I'm just using that as an example. We will celebrate strangers in our home, which is cool. But celebrate your family. Celebrate yourself first. Do the best for your family. Do the best for yourself. Everybody else second. Celebrate the Christ in you first before you can really celebrate the Christ. You can't love Christ until you love the Christ in you. Very hard to, I always interpret that scripture. How can you love your brother? You can't, how can you love God who you can't see, but hate your brother who you can see? So make it more of a personal thing. How can you love God who you can't see and you don't love yourself who you can see? That's the brother. That's the sister you're talking about. You. It's not so much someone else. It's you. Because you cannot love anything effectively and truly until you come to love the God in you first. That's it. It's no other. That's the recipe. Everything else is fake. You can't go talking high up people and then you come home talking down to yourself. I can't do it right. Nothing works for me. Just cursing your situation. Wherever it go wrong, you start cursing it out. Instead of, wait a minute. Oh, this is not exactly what I wanted, but it is still working in my favor. Let me regroup. Let me see where in my consciousness I need to make some adjustments. Start with you. Stop worrying about the how. You will listen. I used to say this a long time ago. I say this all the time and I'll say it again. I don't think I've ever said it on this show too much, maybe once or twice, but before I started doing the show, I should talk to people in this way, especially people who feel like they can't, things are not working out. And I used to help them see things are working out for you. I said, the only thing is your vision of what working out means needs to be adjusted. This world is made so perfect that you have a buffet of good things just waiting on you. You just got to get in the mindset, see it, and go get it. Go pick from the buffet. It's there. You just got to see it. That's for me. That big, nice car, that's for me. That big, nice house, that's for me. That great relationship, that's for me. You just got to go and get it. First, you got to see it for yourself that it's for me and then go for it. See, that's the key. I remember this. If you ever have an epiphany or an reawakening of your awareness to something. I remember I was doing a seminar and I made this comment that, Money, man, you know me, money, and I did that Christian mindset statement. Money ain't everything. And then the person I was working out, I thank him to this day. And we don't work together no, but he said something that changed my mind forever. And I thank him for it. Jonah Bay, I thank him for this. He said something. He said, I don't know about you, but money is everything to me. And I was like, what do you mean? You know, listen, when you say it ain't everything, you're not gonna get it. And I caught that. I said, that's why it's so hard for me, money. I'm speaking against it. I'm telling you, it ain't everything. So it ain't gonna be everything. Money don't mean nothing. Yes, it means something. Especially in this world you living in. It means something. Go tell that to the landlord when you can't pay the bills. It means something. And from that day forward, I changed my thinking. See, the divine God, the divine Christ in you is so powerful that it will bring people into your life temporarily that will change your life forever. And then they will be removed just as fast because they already did their job. So all those people that you having problems with, you need to be thankful because they doing their job to get you to the place you really going. He did his job. And I'm thankful for that. And I can sit there and say things didn't turn out well in the future, but they did turn out well. We just stopped working together, but it turned out well. They turned out exactly the way it's supposed to be. See, we have to be thankful for the people we calling enemies, and he's not an enemy of mine. Nobody, even if they gave you problems, is an enemy. Actually, they're a supporter of the cause you on. They just supported you. If you see it in the right way, you see it in the Christ way. This is why Christ didn't react to those fools that were calling them names and teasing them about being the son of God. I say, I ain't got to prove nothing to you. You're about to see what I'm about. And he did what they say now, right? What do they say now? What's the slang or the saying that they say? He stood 10 toes down in his position and where he at right now. That's what you got to do. You got to stand firm when the storm comes. You can't get the Peter mindset where he temporarily went off. Oh, hey, wait a minute, I'm about to sink in this. No, you got to stand firm and realize you're more powerful than any opposition that comes up against you. All right. I think I did my job today. All right. Luke in April says, peace to the gods, much love, much light to all. Theoretically, God said, what's good? DJ, JOJ, peace and much love. I need to hear this message before you even drop the knowledge. Peace, brother. I'm glad. Indie Circle Ministry said, peace, my brother. In La Vida says, peace to all of you. Javier, peace. Peace back to you, brother. Great show, brother. Great show. Indie Circle. Celebrate yourself, DJ JOJ. Indie Circle Ministry says, we would get whooped for thinking about the China cabinet dishes. I know, right? That stuff used to sit in there for years. Ain't nobody ever touched them dishes. And if you really think about how many people came over to the house to even use those dishes, like hardly ever. I made a list of all my daily activities and thoughts and found that 85% is useless to my goals. Focus on 15 to 20 and life becomes easy. There you go. And then you can do 10 times versus 2x. Great show, Meals in the Making. Meals in the Making, you know that's my wife saying Meals in the Making. That's her. They been in Portugal for almost a month now. you know, trying to heal up and enjoying stuff. I'm trying to get over there, but I just can't. I can. Let me stop. I use a bad word. That was a devilish word. It's just readjusting things. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there for a brief time. And she said sacrifice. Sacrifice. Yeah. You have to, if you really want to make something really big happen, transition, change your life, do something different, you have to say, this is what I want, and then realize what it's gonna take to get there. And you realize that 85% of the thing you're doing is what's hindering you from doing that big thing. You see, you know how this all came about. We had this thing, you know, I ain't gonna tell you the amount of house I was thinking about, but I'm gonna but this is how all of this came up. See, a lot of the stuff I talk about comes through my own personal experience. But Meals in the Making has a channel, by the way, on making meals. So if she would, she could drop her link in the chat so everybody can click on it. All right, y'all. I think I said what I had to say. I hope everybody's doing well or received it well. I hope it works for you. If you can use it, remember, the best voice you could ever hear to help you along your journey is your voice, the voice of Christ within you. That's where it resides. I know we like to go listen to this and listen. I listen to a lot of stuff too. But I remember, I remember vividly, all of my greatest inspirations came from quiet time, and I was just in my own thoughts, and the voices spoke to me and said, this is what you need. Move. And see, once you have those experiences, no one can rob you of that and take that away from you. Because that's why when I'm talking to people and they be backlipping me and give me no but all these buts, I just be thinking, forgive them, Father, they know not what they say or do. Because maybe they just haven't had that experience I've had with my own self when I was going off by myself and the voice said, hey, what you talking about, bro? Everything you know come from outside. People told you who I am. The God you know is somebody else's interpretation. See, you can't rob me of that. That's why I can speak with authority on what it takes. And that's when I discovered, and shortly after that, I discovered my purpose is to share this. That the only true power that you got, that anybody have, is within you. There is no other power. There is no other God. There is no other good but what's in you. And with that being said, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. It's time for you to live out your purpose. It's not for me to decide what your purpose is. It's for me to just tell you, go for your purpose. Everyone has purpose. Oh, no, I can't think of nothing. No, the reason why you can't think of nothing because your mind is so convoluted with all of the polluted information that you received from the day you was born that it's covering up those treasures, that inheritance that God had for you. That's why I said it's already there. It's just you can't see it because you're looking at what man showed you. Soon as you peel that back, you'll see it. But it takes putting forth God first for you to see it. Then you start opening, wow, I could do this. I could do that. It's like a miracle. Once I get ideas, my mind is motivated on ideas, stuff just pop. My favorite technique to make stuff pop is once I get that first idea, move, stop playing. Too many of y'all playing. Y'all call it planning. I call it playing. Planning and playing seem to be right in the same spelling categories. Move around a few words. I call it playing. Yeah, planning is good in some circumstances, but sometimes you get an idea, you just got to move on it. That's why Christ said, be like these children, and then you can enter the kingdom of heaven.